SCP-2006. Okay, I may have lied. This one isn't exactly scary. You see, SCP-2006 is a Keter-class shape-shifting entity whose entire purpose in existence is to scare humans. The twist? It has zero idea what actually scares them. It tries really hard, like adorably hard, but the best it can do is turn into low-budget horror villains from movies that got 8% on Rotten Tomatoes. And its favorite form? Roman, the gorilla suit with a fishbowl helmet from the 1953 disaster robot monster. So yes, the deadliest thing about SCP-2006 might be secondhand embarrassment. His true form is a floating, shape-shifting blob. It can change its size, voice, chemistry, everything. In theory, it could become anything it wants. In practice, it mostly walks around yelling things like, "Behold, human, tremble," while dressed like a Halloween prop from a dollar store. It's technically indestructible, no known weaknesses. So, if it ever figures out what actually scares people, war, death, nuclear scenarios, even commitment, it could become the most psychologically dangerous thing on the planet. Containment is basically method acting. Every staff member near it has to pretend to be terrified, like Oscar-worthy fake screams. It's shown bad horror movies on a monthly basis to keep its scare standards low, and no one is allowed to let it know how ridiculous it is. Because the second it learns fear isn't all rubber masks and spooky music, we're screwed. SCP-966. What came first, the chicken or the egg? A better question would be, what crawled out of the egg? And why does it look like SCP-3199's sleep-deprived cousin? These things are Euclid-class fever dream material, minus the dream part, because they won't let you sleep at all. It's a species of hairless, thin humanoids, with teeth like needles and the muscle tone of a rotisserie chicken. It looks kind of scary until you zoom in and realize Homie is probably high as a kite, grinning like he just crop-dusted the room and is waiting for you to notice. But don't let the goofy face fool you. These guys are walking sleep paralysis demons. They emit an invisible wave that blocks your ability to sleep. You can't nap, you can't dream, and you won't even pass out from exhaustion. Basically, you'll stay awake as your brain slowly breaks down. Ambien? Worthless. Meditation? Try hallucinations instead. You couldn't have dreamed of being in a worse situation, literally. And all the while, something is following you, but you can't see it. SCP-966 is only visible in the infrared spectrum. So, unless you're wearing night vision goggles for fun, you'll never know what's pacing behind you at 3 a.m. But you'll feel them, though. Sometimes they will mess with you. Random loud noises, footsteps, or the feeling you're being watched. Eventually, your mind unravels. You'll hallucinate, rage out, see things that aren't there, and then finally collapse, which is when they eat you. Containment is cozy. The Foundation has 4 of these things locked up in a 10 by 10 meter steel room padded with lead. They're watched 24/7 with heat-sensitive cameras, fed meat monthly, and if one gives birth, the newborn gets studied and, well, terminated. So yeah, joke's on you, I wasn't planning on sleeping tonight anyway. SCP-2852. Heads up, this one's disturbing. SCP-2852 might be the worst guest in human history. He's a Keter-class anomaly that shows up uninvited, no one remembers inviting him, and yet everyone swears he's family. Oh yeah, that's Cousin Johnny from Mom's side, I think. He looks like a perfectly average middle-aged man, which honestly is already scary enough. But then he opens his mouth. And that's where the copper-colored mystery goo comes in. I mean, out. Once he's there, things get weird pretty fast. During a christening, he acts like a third godparent, and suddenly everyone's eating the baby's skin. Don't worry, the baby survives. But he'll probably grow up to torture animals. And everyone else? They go sterile, suicidal, or murdery within a few years. At weddings, he brings dental tools. The happy couple extracts and eats their own teeth. Then he gives a speech no one understands, but everyone somehow agrees with, and gifts them a bag of hair, cicadas, and teeth. Funerals? Even worse. He delivers a speech that ends with guests draining their blood into the coffin and eating vomit stew at the wake. He lies on a table, gets eaten alive, then reappears at the next tragedy like nothing happened. Guess he took blood relative a bit too seriously. Containment is basically wishful thinking. Johnny teleports past locked doors, ignores guards, and doesn't appear on cameras. The Foundation can't hold him. They just track incidents and clean up the mess afterward. The best they can do is monitor religious gatherings and hope he doesn't RSVP. SCP-5031. SCP-5031 is a Keter-class creature that looks like it wants to gut you alive, but actually just wants to know if you like your duck confit crispy or soft. It's a floating 6-armed murder beast that used to scream 24/7, killed anything that moved, and disemboweled pigs for fun. Now, It's serving fancy desserts and composing its own music. At first glance, well, you can't glance. If you look at SCP-5031 directly, it vanishes, like it was never there. You won't catch it on camera or in a photo either. The only thing you can see is its shadow, a tall, floating shape with 6 arms and a sharp, blade-like pelvis. So yeah, back then, straight into a soundproof iron box it went, where it screamed 24/7. But once researchers threw in a basketball, some Mozart, and a rotisserie chicken, something clicked. Fast forward a few months. It stopped killing things, started drumming, then cooking. Like, professionally. It taught itself motor skills, basic language, and kitchen technique. Its first word was literally salt. The Foundation couldn't be more proud. Now, it runs a gourmet test kitchen. It cooked tacos, fudge, and once hosted Thanksgiving with a 6-handed piano performance. Containment is more culinary internship than emergency lockdown. 5031 is now housed in a custom habitat, with speakers, lighting, toys, and a fully functional test kitchen. In the end, the anomaly was terrifying. But these days, the only thing scary about it is what it'll do if you undercook the risotto. SCP-4666. You know that line that goes, "He sees you when you're sleeping?" Yeah, that's him. SCP-4666 is a Keter-class Christmas cryptid known as the Yule Man. This 8-foot-tall, skinny old man only works 12 nights a year. But boy, does he make it count. From December 21st to January 2nd, families living above the 40 degrees north line might get a Weihnacht event. Sounds festive, right? Wrong. It's basically Foundation code for murderous holiday home invasion. First few nights, the kids just see him standing outside. If that isn't traumatizing enough, he does so butt-ass naked. By night 8, you hear footsteps in the attic and smell something disgusting, like the vomit stew from Cousin Johnny. On night 12, it's not subtle anymore. Everyone in the house gets brutally murdered, except one kid. That one gets abducted and turned into a toy. The lucky families, they don't die. They just wake up to said handcrafted toys, made from human bones, skin, and teeth. But don't worry, he never hurts animals. He might boil your parents alive, but Whiskers the cat gets a pass. Professionals have standards, obviously. Other than that, he shows zero emotion, no speech, and won't appear on video. He teleports, ignores physical barriers, and leaves no trace. Containment? Yeah, good luck. The Foundation just monitors for signs, fakes the crime scene, and hopes no one else makes his naughty list. He can't be captured, only tracked. Anyways, it seems like the story's got it wrong. He's not the one with the sleigh. He's the one who slays. SCP-323. Oh dear. You found a skull in the woods. It got antlers, bleached bone, and that hollowed-out put-me-on vibe. And because curiosity always wins, you touched it. Maybe even wore it. And now? You're eyeing Janet from HR like she's a charcuterie board. This Euclid-class anomaly is just a skull that looks like something you'd see hanging over a fireplace. But here's the catch. If you get too close for too long, it starts whispering to you. After some time, you start to realize maybe cannibalism might not be such a bad idea. But the real danger kicks in when someone tries to wear it. Even if their head doesn't fit, they'll bash it against walls until it does. The second it's on, you become SCP-323-1. In under 10 minutes, your body snaps and shifts. Fingers shatter, skin frostbites itself, your jaw reconstructs for optimal chewing. Hope you weren't attached to basic human anatomy, or your coworkers for that matter. Once transformed, you'll stalk, hunt, and kill anything human to keep up with their skyrocketing metabolism. No people around? That's fine. You'll just start eating yourself. Naturally, containment is helmet lockdown. The skull sits in an armored box inside a concrete room at Site 91. Nobody speaks English or French near it because, for reasons unknown, it really hates bilinguals. If you so much as whisper bonjour near it, expect problems. And next time you find bones in a forest, just remember, some things are meant to stay buried, like your appetite for Steve from accounting. SCP-3001. You know how sometimes people say they're seeing red? Well, this SCP takes that a little too literally. You see, 3001, also known as red reality, is a Euclid-class non-dimension. Basically, a pocket universe where space, time, and matter forgot how to exist properly. Once you're inside the red mist, your body starts to fall apart, but your mind doesn't follow. Dr. Robert Scranton ended up there by accident during a failed experiment. A sudden earthquake tore open a small tear in space, and he slipped through, gone in seconds. He landed in the red reality completely alone. There was no one to talk to, nothing to eat, and no way out. Just him, and a damaged control panel that came through with him. That panel became his only hope, and later, his only weapon. He tried everything to fix it, even used it to try and end his life. Nothing worked. After nearly 6 years in that place, the panel suddenly reappeared back on Earth. Just the panel, covered in blood, broken teeth, and pieces of him. His body had started dissolving, flesh, organs, even bone, just drifting away. But his brain stayed active. He could still talk, still think. He even tried to hold on to the memory of his wife Anna, repeating her name just to stay sane. Containment is no more accidental space holes. All reality tech is locked down, because Dr. Scranton might still be in there, barely human, still aware, and still waiting. SCP-087. SCP-087 is basically an infinite stairmaster. You'll probably already feel uneasy when you start down these stairs, but by the time you're a few floors in, your fear will be on another level. It's located on a college campus, because nothing says higher education like an infinite descent into psychological torment. The entrance? Hidden behind what looks like a janitor's closet. Inside, there's plain concrete, metal handrails, and a tight spiral staircase that descends forever. Oh, and it also eats anything brighter than a 75-watt bulb. Bring a torch and you'll see about 1.5 flights ahead. Bring optimism, that gets absorbed too. It's Euclid class, mostly because no one knows how deep it goes or what's waiting. The Foundation tried multiple explorations. They sent in cameras, lights, even expendable people. And you're probably wondering, did anyone ever find the bottom? Short answer, nope. But they all heard the same thing. A child's voice, sobbing below. Naturally, everyone went full horror movie logic and kept following the sound. They each reported paranoia, visual hallucinations, and eventually the same thing, SCP-87-1. A pale, eyeless face in the dark, just floating and staring at you. So it appears these stairs will have you tripping in no time, and I don't mean falling. Containment is low effort, high stress. The Foundation is taking the steps to make sure the door is locked, reinforced, and foam padded now. Personally, I'd avoid taking the steps at all. So if you ever see a concrete stairwell and think, leg day? Think again. I wouldn't trust those stairs. Feels like they're up to something, or down for that matter. All right, folks, that's it for today's trauma report. See you in the next one.